So how can you take the everyday run-of-the-mill 2-5-1 that normally sounds like this and turn it into this? Well, today, using My Funny Valentine, we're going to show you exactly how using upper structures. So our 2-5-1 is going to be F minor, or F minor 7, B flat 7, and E flat. And with your run-of-the-mill sort of voicings, these are the sorts of colors and sounds that you get. Let's use some upper structures to change things up a little bit. In order to make things a little more interesting, before we implement our upper structures, I want to do one little thing first. I want to do some reharmonization of this 2-5-1. The best way to explain this is to see it, and the best way to see it is through our map. So let's bring in our map of tonal harmony. Borrowing from minor is really easy when you see it from this perspective. All of our major key chords are on the outsides of these circles, and all of the minor key chords, or in other words, the parallel minor of our major key, can be found on the insides of the circles. So to apply modal interchange as it relates to borrowing from minor to our 2 chord here, all I have to do is go on the inside of the circle and I see it's a 2 minor 7, flat 5. And when we go over to the 5 chord, we see our B flat 7 turns into a B flat 7, flat 9, flat 13. We're going to talk about that flat 13 later. So let's go into, now that we've done that, the upper structures. So the first upper structure we're going to use applies to our F minor 7, flat 5, our newly found minor 7, flat 5 chord. So F, A flat, C flat, and E flat will be down here. And on top of it, what we're going to do is a major triad built off of the flat 7 of this chord, which in this case is E flat. So that gives us an E flat major triad up here on top of the minor 7 flat 5 chord down here. And I'm not going to play it in root position because that would sort of have our voicings overlap. I'll play it in first inversion, G, B flat, and E flat. So here's my upper structure, and here's my minor 7 flat 5 chord, and when you put them together, get this really cool color. One of the coolest things about this chord is this note, the G. Normally when we have a minor 7 flat 5 chord, it's paired with a Locrian scale. In this case would be F Locrian. But if you remember, we reharmonized earlier from just an F minor 7. What we're doing here is sort of the best of both worlds, right? We've borrowed from minor to get this chord, but we're using a different chord scale pairing to inform it. We're using a Locrian natural 9 because we're inevitably targeting a major chord at the end of this cadence. So this has a major-esque quality to it that informs our upper structure, our E flat. Another perspective of this upper structure, by the way, we said it was a flat 7 or a major triad built off the flat 7 of our chord. When you do that, by the way, you always end up with the 1 chord of your key. So E flat. We were in the key of E flat like we mentioned earlier. So that's a good shortcut you can use when you want to implement this upper structure. Minor 7 flat 5 chords, flat 7 major triad is just the 1 of the key that you're in. So our next chord is B flat 7 with a flat 9, C flat. So what we're going to do with this, the upper structure we're going to use, is a major triad built off the 6th degree of our B flat 7. That gives us G, B, and D. It's a G major triad on top of our B flat 7 chord. So on the bottom we'll have, I don't know, B flat and A flat, just the root and the 7th, and then we'll put our G chord on top, our major triad built off of the 6th degree. So the cool thing about this upper structure voicing that we're doing is it's doing very similar things to the last one. This G natural, by all rights, doesn't really belong here because this chord scale pairing is mixo flat 9, flat 13. So really, there's a strong argument to be made for this being a B minor up here, not a G major. So we're gonna use both. We're gonna sort of use the best of both worlds. We're gonna use this major sound and then use that mixo flat 9, flat 13 chord scale pairing as a stepping stone to get us to where we wanna go inevitably, which is here at the end. And where is here? Like, where did we end up? Well, we ended with a major triad built off the 5th degree of our chord. So our chord is E flat. The 5th degree of E flat is B flat. So if I build a B flat major triad on top of this chord, the color I'll get is this. Let's take a second and just listen to the upper structures that we just came up with in a vacuum, by themselves, without any context. And you'll hear how weird and how cool and the intrinsic value that you get from upper structures when you use them. So we basically started with, what did we start with? E flat, G major, to V minor just for a second, and then B flat. Listen to that again. So here's how it all sounds together. Our 2, our 5, and our 1. Awesome. If you're curious to learn more about upper structures, how they work, and how to use them to create really cool colors in music, check out our course. We have 2 seasons dedicated entirely to upper structure. Season 1, upper structure triads, and Season 2, upper structure chordals. We actually have an entire episode in Season 1, Episode 4, which is dedicated to the flat 7 major triad over a minor 7 flat 5. So check us out at mDecks.com if you want to learn more. So hopefully from now on, when you play My Funny Valentine, you'll have a different perspective on these 2/5s, or any 2/5 for that matter. Go ahead and implement this approach in any of your 2/5s that you see in your charts and see what you come up with.